Is this the stuff?
First thing first,
This is mine,
Seth's
this is
going down
yours,
there.
but Seth has the rest of it.
Thank you. May I have one I didn't print?
I'd like everybody to,
I'll share,
Okay.
I can share.
let's do the meeting minutes for December 4th. Does anyone have any issues with the notes that we got, or if not, I'd like to just have a motion and then we can discuss it after a second. Or we can just fly with it.
I make a motion to accept the meeting minutes from December 4th.
Second.
We have a motion made and seconded. Does anyone have any comments about this? It looked pretty good to me. Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. All right, guys, so we can start, tonight. Special town meeting, review the warrant. I've been advised that we do not need to, make a motion, have any comment, neither the rest of the selectmen, because it's a citizen's petition. It was at the last meeting, it was, I think, the overall group sentiment that we would like to make either a yes, no, or no, action be taken. So, on Article 1 and Article 2 for that meeting on the 5th of January. So, I think let's do it, and then we'll have it on record, and if we would like at the town meeting, we can, I can, read the finance committee's recommendation.
There's three articles.
Article 2, yeah, it's the third one, yes, on the back. All public ways. We, in the past have said no action on some of them. But I don't know why we wouldn't just say yes on these and just, right now the town is plowing, maintaining them through the winter, sanding, whatever they need to do for public safety. And they're keeping a tally of what the money is, and they're gonna try to recoup it at the end.
Smart move, yeah. Spend money we don't have and worry about it afterwards.
Well, because of the situation,
I'm sorry, but that's just.
well, unfortunately, they're taxpayers.
Well, unfortunately, but didn't we make a rule a while, we've asked about this several times.
Yes,
And we have a town meeting vote that says we're gonna plow roads, even though they're not accepted and they agreed on certain roads. But then that was modified in January or a year ago, January, by the select board that said from that point forward, they wouldn't do them.
I
No,
don't
they
believe
wouldn't
there's-
add any more. A few years ago, it said we wouldn't add any more to the list.
It was, I
That
was on the
the
board at
line,
the
and there
time, we
was
drew
no
a
more to
line
be
and said,
added.
that's it.
Yeah, what was on the book, so historically, that's what we were doing and only those.
traditionally, it was my understanding that the builder or developer of said roads, until the roads got accepted, was to maintain the roads.
I'm not sure if that's tradition, I think that's our bylaws.
Well, yeah, I'm gonna say for those kind of roads. But I'm just saying is, well, I don't have it to read it to tell you what it says, but there is some kind of a town meeting vote that said that they would plow these other roads. And I think over the years it came to include some of the other roads that weren't, but I'm not sure on that. I'm just saying,
Yes, there is
we really need
there is a set of roads that the town plows that are not town accepted roads and then line was drawn and said there would be no more added to this.
Well, that's what I'm talking
Yeah.
about.
Right.
But my point is, the town meeting vote, did it did the town meeting vote list those roads, or did somebody else
Yeah,
list
oh, it
those
was very
roads?
There was a
specific,
list, yeah.
very, very
I have
specific.
the list at home if you ever wanna look at
Yeah.
it, but I don't have it.
It was a very specific list.
It still doesn't answer, was that list part of the town meeting vote at the time, or was it a list that somebody made up?
I think there was a list.
I'm
I'm
99%.
not 100%
Yeah, I don't know if the town meeting vote included it or not, to be
There was
honest
an
with you.
existing list. and-
Yes, and there's not supposed to be any more
and the
other than those.
Select board made that. It didn't go to town meeting
That's what
because I
I'm-
think somebody asked, can we add this one, that one, the other
Right.
one? And we said,
So-
no.
That's what I'm trying to get at. I'd like to work with the facts, exactly what the thing says, that's all I'm getting at.
Yep.
But that wouldn't apply to these roads anyways.
Doesn't seem as it would.
Right.
But I guess as a taxpayer, I would be asking, why are we
Absolutely.
not abiding by just because somebody says I'm not doing it, doesn't mean
Right.
it's on the town to do it. If our bylaws say it needs to be
Seth,
done.
do you have anything to add on this subject?
I'm pulling it up right now.
Okay, so this is the warrant that was drawn up now. The warrant's closed, correct?
Correct.
And the meeting, what, next Monday night of the selectmen is for them to lay out the roads?
They already did.
No, the intent to lay out was voted, and then the public hearing is Monday, and then they have to vote to formally,
Okay.
and then that goes to the town clerk, and then it goes to town meeting.
I'm sorry, I missed that first part. You said, now say it again?
So Monday's the hearing,
Well, okay, Monday is the
the hearing with the
Monday
board of
night.
selectmen. You'll hear all evidence. They will make a decision of the members present to vote in favor or to lay out the road. So to formally accept to lay out the road at town meeting. Once that's done, yes or no, then that gets filed with the town clerk's office. And then the vote at town meeting is the final vote.
Seth, to the best of your knowledge, did the planning board accept all these three roads?
Yes, at their last meeting last Tuesday, they voted in favor of all three. They got the required documentation that the select board was looking for to satisfy their concerns.
Okay.
So that their part was done. I think the documentation has been put in order and are in front of the select board and available for them on Monday night to review.
So the planning board has said, yes, these roads are
Ready to be accepted.
ready to be accepted.
Yep.
And the select board, has they done the road layouts?
That's their public hearing on Monday.
That's okay. And was there another board or some, was there a question of some bills being paid or something? Were those taken care of?
All taken care of,
It's all taken care of.
correct.
Mr. Jordan would like to add something to it. Go ahead.
So just for clarification, was the planning board this would be the second time that they've approved those roads, is that
That is
correct? Because they approved them
When they didn't
before,
get placed, the last town meeting.
and then there was some concern that the selectmen brought forward that there's some concern, and then from my understanding is that was 100% corrected and they voted it again, is that a fair assumption?
So the concerns the select board had the first time around were addressed by the planning board and the developer, and the required information, the signatures that need to be signed in on certain waivers are done, and that was voted at the planning board meeting Tuesday. So what the select board was looking for is now done. That's of last Tuesday's meeting, and that is in front of them on Monday.
So there was paperwork that wasn't completed prior to that last meeting.
Depends upon who you ask.
Well, yeah, because I heard some other things too, but I don't know if they're facts or not. That's why I'm asking.
My opinion of what happened in that meeting was that the deadline was so close that not everything, the select board didn't have the sign off, whether it was done or not. The select board hadn't received it
They
or
weren't
something.
comfortable enough to put, and they didn't have all their members, so they had a tie vote, Tommy, it was 2-2 instead of, and so it went down.
Right, okay. Kinda like when we get pushed to the last day before something's gonna get done.
Yeah.
All right, so, and this is at on Naquag. It was gonna be, just so everybody knows, this is gonna be at Naquag, if you wanna come.
Everybody wants to go to town meeting, what do you mean if you want to come?
The more happens,
You're not going on one of your field trips? Nope. Okay.
And through the chair,
Yes, sir.
from June 4th, 2018, select board meeting minutes, is when the motion was by Skip Clark not to add any additional roads to the list. So it was a select board meeting vote, not a town meeting vote.
Okay. Does anyone have a motion on Article 1? What we'd
But
like,
wait, I just wanna go, before we get to that, so. You said that you were told by somebody that we don't have to do anything on these.
I was told by the acting town administrator that he checked into it, and because it was a citizen's petition, neither the selectmen or the finance committee actually needs to have a vote on any of this. If we would like, we are welcome to. We're not discouraged to. We can do whatever we want. But
Okay. But part of the bylaw says, and I know this has got a change to it, but it did say the committee shall consider all motions. You added all in it, but it says once a town warrant is prepared, they're supposed to come to us for our review and recommendation.
And the town moderator always reads the motion and says, recommendation of the finance committee, after everyone, correct?
Citizen petition, I do not.
You do not.
So normally you don't have a town meeting with just citizen petitions.
I get that.
This happens.
But when it's on a normal one with the
But if you
citizens
have
petition.
30 articles and the last one, it's typically always the end of the
Yes, you
articles.
don't ask us for that one?
Typically, I do,
Go ahead.
typically I do not.
Okay, but my point is, with there is citizen, that's the whole purpose behind the way the bylaw is. If a citizen petition is signed by enough people, they force the town meeting.
Yes.
So it doesn't make any difference whether it has other articles or not. And our bylaw, and it always has since for years, is the finance board is supposed to consider any article that comes before the town, because there could be a financial impact, or there could be other concerns that need to be looked at, to be brought up. I'm not saying there are, I'm just saying that that's what it's supposed to be. That's what the bylaw says.
so I think that's why we decided that we were gonna do that tonight,
Well,
for that reason.
we didn't decide that yet.
It's on the agenda, but that's
No,
what
I
we are.
understand, right,
as a
that's what we
group,
talked
yes.
about last meeting, to
Yes.
make sure we would do it correctly
And
tonight.
I think we just always, to your point, I think we always just have to always say that we'll vote on anything like this. I think we do anyways in a regular warrant. If there was a road on a regular annual town meeting, we would at the end.
Okay, well, but I'm just saying, there's not a difference between a regular, this is, I'm sorry I'm keeping you
No,
awake,
no, no,
Karen.
no, that's okay.
This is,
I've had a very long day today, that's
I
all.
have too, so, my point is that this is a warrant. Doesn't make any difference what it's from, it's a warrant that is posted for the town of Rutland.
Okay.
And it should be followed what our bylaw says, unless somebody's gonna try to change that again too.
I don't have a problem with it, and
No,
that's why.
I don't either, I'm
let's-
just trying to make sure that
Nope.
we're on the same page.
Can I ask a
Using
question
your
to the acting
information.
town administrator?
You
Try
certainly
not
can.
to sign.
If the
Make it
town,
easy.
if the select board decides not to lay the ways, intent to lay the ways, whatever the official term is, then this would make no difference, correct? Cause they have to lay the ways in order to have it
The
go.
vote has to be a favorable vote by the Board of Selectmen.
Right. to-
If it's
to lay out
not,
the
and town
road.
meeting still happens, it's a sense of the meeting and the vote will not stand.
I make the motion that we table all of these decisions until we have the vote from the select board. See what they have to say.
And I agree with you, because that was the big discussion a year ago or a year and a half ago. That people said, well, we wanna do it, whatever, they did, but I forgot who it was that said, but we have to sit down and lay out the way before anything can go forward.
Well, Darren's 2 cents of that, and I agree with I understand what Karen just said, but we are independent of the selectmen.
Correct.
And if we wanna vote, I just say we do it. I don't care what the selectmen have to say. We are independent, we're the checks and balances for the town, and I feel, Darren Ross feels that we should vote either yay, nay, or no action. And do it right now, and
And-
who cares?
And I don't disagree with you, because the bylaw says this is a warrant, it's posted or
Right.
gonna be posted. It's been given to us, but I also agree with what Karen said, you still have to have that step in there for it to be, cause I'm pretty sure it's a state law.
Okay.
So if the select board by chance doesn't vote to lay out the roads, and we were to say, vote favorably on it, it's still null and void if
Still
it
null and
goes?
void.
So then I agree with Karen, it should be tabled until we hear from them.
Would there be any point, or would it have any bearing if we were to word our motion that we vote favorably, assuming that there is a favorable layout by the select board?
We can do it one of two ways. We can do it your way, or we can have at 10 minutes to the town meeting on the 5th, we can take it up right then. It's,
Gotcha,
They should have to
that makes
there's a
sense.
motion on the floor. If someone wants to second it, we can second it and have a vote, and then we can all, I don't really care how we do it. It's just,
I second the motion.
I don't think there is a motion. Yes.
She made a
You
motion.
made the
I
motion.
made the motion to table this until.
Tamika, are you there?
Motion.
Oh, it's a table, that's right.
I didn't.
Okay, thank you. So we have a motion made by Karen, seconded by Ted, to table the special town meeting vote on these roads until, we'll
Table our vote on these
Yes.
articles, right?
until, we'll have to have, her post a meeting for a few
It would be
minutes before.
posted, yeah.
Yeah, we'll take care of that.
I think that makes sense, just, it takes away confusion.
Okay,
Yeah, but I agree with what Ted said a little minute ago, you can put the caveat on it that it has to meet all the requirements.
you
And have it over
you-
with.
You can, if you'd like, you can do that. Mr. Jordan.
So for the selectmen to lay out the roads,
Yep.
why would they potentially not do that if the whole punch list is done
Right.
in both the planning board and the selectmen's eyes?
I can't answer that on their behalf. Anything's possible.
Stranger things occur.
Yeah, that's all I can say.
But can I just,
I don't know what their intent and what their position will be on Monday night. They've asked for 6 pieces of documentation and the 6 pieces have been provided. So I would think it should be,
Okay, Tommy, you have another
I
comment?
agree with, what Seth just said, anything's possible, and what Karen says possible, but I agree with Ray. I mean, why would they not go forward if all the conditions that they're supposed to have are met? These things have followed a process for a number of years through the various town boards and the requirements that the town has set up. And if they've met all those requirements and everything is done properly,
I feel that, yep, that's good. And my last thing is, we're independent and we're appointed by someone else other than the selectmen.
Yep.
And that's my opinion.
yep.
All right, any other questions? All those in favor,
For the table, the
Aye.
motion.
Aye.
to table the motion,
Aye.
Who's for this?
and all those opposed, 1 nay,
Nay.
myself.
No, I'm a
Two.
nay.
Okay, 2 nays, the motion carries.
I apologize. Who was the second name, Tom? Tommy and who else?
Tommy and myself.
Okay, thank you.
All right, so we'll table that. We don't need to talk about that, but, Tamika, we'll just need 15 minutes before the town meeting, a meeting, please.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much. All right. Finance Committee bylaw.
Okay, can I just have a clarification? So, we're tabling it, we're not gonna do it, so I'm assuming that we're gonna know more about it after Monday night, and we'll know what the
Correct.
answers to those questions are to. So we'll have
Answer, if they laid it out properly, I think we'll know that answer.
All
And if they lay
That's
it
what I'm
out, then
getting-
we
okay,
can, yes.
All right, okay,
By the time the town meeting vote is, we will, probably beforehand, but we will know
okay.
for sure. All right, guys, so Carol spent some time and she said one person called her or reached out to her.
No, I just assumed that
It was good.
it was good.
So, Carol, the blue is the
The blue is
changes.
the changes, and all I did was I went through the current, all the other bylaws that had anything to do with finance committee, and they're just reiterated here. There's
Okay.
really nothing, there is nothing new. I think the only new thing is we put all warrant articles on subsection 4C. We just had added all warrant articles, all town meetings. Everything else is, there was an error in the bylaws. Subsection 4C says that it's in accordance with chapter 2, article 2, subsection 4E, but it's supposed to be D. So
Okay,
that is a bylaw, that what's written in the bylaws, wherever this is in error.
incorrect.
But everything else, I've just taken it and said in accordance with, and I referenced where where in the bylaw the original is.
All right. So what would we like to do now? Do we want to, I think our next step is to bring it to that bylaw committee, right? And,
And simultaneously to the charter committee.
yes,
You gotta bring it to both because they're working independently on the same stuff.
okay.
I do want to question, because we said with citizens petitions, so we don't have this conversation again about what our duties and responsibilities are. Should, when it says all warrant articles, it does imply citizens petition, should we say including citizens, even a town meeting that is only citizens petition, or we just know all means all?
I think all means all,
Okay,
but I understand where you're thinking.
That's not overly complicated.
All right, so, I think, we should just have a consensus, straw poll here. Does everybody agree with this? All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, so we will research the next steps and proceed into,
So should we just review this for, we're gonna have a meeting in a few weeks, right?
the next meeting for us will be on the night of the town meeting,
Oh, yeah.
and then that's a quick one, and then the 8th with the selectmen.
The 8th of January.
Yes.
That's the budget discussion.
But so when's our next, we haven't.
We
said
haven't,
it.
we haven't have a, there's 2 meetings, but we don't have like our own meeting yet.
Okay, okay. So what we just did now, we didn't make an official vote on this.
No,
Nothing.
we
We just said, yes, we like this, and
Yeah, we'll move
I
it
guess that's what
along.
I'm getting at. We
Yeah.
can look at it a little bit
Yep.
more. Okay. All right, that's fine.
If you want to change for the annual town meeting, we gotta kind of move this forward,
Correct. That's what I'm saying.
yeah.
Ted?
I just had a question. on this 4C, it says the committee shall consider its recommendation on all warrant articles received from the select board. Are citizen petition warrant articles considered to be received from the select board?
Yes, cause they placed them as warrant articles.
So the, it's just, that's how they originated, but they're still placed by the select board, okay,
Yep.
just wanted to double check
No, that's a
that.
good question. If anybody, so I guess everybody, we can talk about this at, coming up at a meeting, but like Tommy said, we wanna get moving on it, or somebody said we wanna get moving on it, that's fine. Number 3, town council question about the DESI letters, we have not received a reply as of yet. I know they're working on it.
Town council said that they received it.
They received
They
it.
received it. We checked with them the other day and.
We handed it to them. So-
Months
a witness.
A month ago, right?
Oh, a month and a half ago. Yeah.
They did reach out to our office and asked if it was appropriate if they continued to, on your behalf. I said, absolutely.
That was like 3 weeks ago.
Yes.
Yeah, that was well, maybe they're busy.
It's gonna be a big bill. It's gonna be the biggest bill in the history of the.
Well, it sounds like they're gonna make hay with it, but kind of a simple question, but.
Lots of vacations on the books.
Just so everybody knows, so on the night before, on the 8th, it's a joint meeting with the selectmen to review the budget. With the new town administrator and an acting town administrator there to just come up to speed on where we're at.
But wasn't it asked if we could make it? Wasn't that the way it was? It's not set in stone that that's the date. It was asked if we were gonna be available, wasn't it? Or did I read it wrong? It was kinda asked.
I think we should go there on the 8th.
Sure, will we have enough people here to make a quorum?
Excuse me?
We wanna make sure we have enough people, that's all. If
Okay.
everyone's out of town or can't make it, then it's no good for us.
I'm available.
Me too.
Me too. I would say just post a meeting.
Barring the unforeseen, I'll be there.
Great. Then we're gonna have a,
we'll have a
quorum, so
quorum.
that's it.
And if we don't, then you can't open the meeting, that's all. But
Okay.
anyways,
We don't wanna start off bad with the new town administrator.
I could care less. Tamika, could you post a meeting for the 8th, please? You probably already have, but if you haven't, would you? The 2027, we're gonna move right into 5. The 2027 meeting with, the Wachusett, they've asked for a finance committee member, a selectman, and the town administrator, I think. What time is that meeting at? I saw it. 7 PM. Is there anybody in this room that would like to go? More than me? And they've asked for 1 representative, I mean, you could certainly go and sit on the sidelines, but is there anybody in here that has a desire to go? And we would recommend that you go. Hearing
I
none,
think we should give you that desire.
that's where I'm going. Hearing none, I'll be going on the 8th. Lucky me.
The
The
24th.
24th, February
February.
24th, anyways.
You're
yeah.
going on the 8th
I'm
and
gonna go
the
on the 8th,
24th.
yeah. But I'll go on the 24th and, just so everybody knows that.
Darren,
Yes, sir.
through the chair, just so you know, on the school schedule, at their March 9th meeting, the school committee will take their formal vote on the final budget number. That's their date.
Have they
So-
given you a preliminary number?
No,
That's what you're gonna-
no, they're just starting their budget retreats with all the individual schools principals, so that will be ongoing, early January. So if you would like the school to come to any finance committee meeting, they ask that you schedule them after the March 9th meeting, that way they'll have true assessment numbers that we've been able to provide.
They've given you reasonable numbers now.
I only have the student population now, and that's what I had sent out in the population shift. So we know what that entails, as far as our overall percentage of the budget is increasing because of our student count is increasing. But their final number, we do not have what they're looking to increase their budget by,
March 9th is the night the school committee is gonna vote on the budget?
on their budget, yes.
Because I'm just say, usually
Yes.
it's that first or second
Yeah.
of March.
Yep.
10th, whatever, it's right in that, always the same time.
Yep.
So that we're
Meeting on
buttoned up.
the 24th is the one that you go, and all the towns agree that it really shouldn't be over a certain percentage and.
Yeah,
doesn't
and
make
then
any
they do what
difference
they want
anyways.
anyway.
And then they ignore us and
Right.
come to us.
Right. Okay,
Okay,
sounds good.
we will, I'm sure we'll have a meeting, several meetings before then.
Yep.
As we get there. Number 6. The FY 27 general overview that I had asked our, acting town administrator to take it up. He, talked with the new town administrator, today. Well, I can let him explain and we can go for that. I don't need to, we can go from there.
All right, so you should have the memo in front of you. Again, this is basically taking what we anticipate for revenue into what the request from the select board for requests for budgets for the next fiscal year, basically bring us back to level services of 2025. And this is basically where we're at. On the revenue side, we basically looked at revenue a little differently and try to look at every line to be realistic and try to go back to estimating local receipts the way we were prior to this year. So we try to be conservative on that. The biggest change, and everyone's gonna be freaking out that why is local aid down $1.5 million from this year? It really has to do with dispatch leaving and becoming their own independent district. The revenue that we receive from 911 and from the member towns paying the assessments were considered local receipts. And so that came in on the local receipt side. On the other side of the ledger, we're not having all the indirect costs, healthcare, everything else that are on the expense side. So you'll see that in their line item for dispatch, it used to be $680,000, is now down to $375,000, because that's the town's assessment portion of the budget. There are other costs spread out through the entire budget: healthcare, Worcester County retirement, insurance, liability insurance, workers' comp, things of that nature that have all been extracted out of the expense side as well. Other than that, obviously we all knew going into this year with the use of the amount of free cash that was used that we were starting in a large deficit, and just with insurance costs. Health insurance is estimated at a 20% increase. That's where we're starting. We don't know where that's gonna end. We'll know after January where that's gonna be. Contractual obligations, obviously, energy costs. This year, the select board passed a new wage and classification plan for all non-union employees, which only amounts to like a dozen people. So there are adjustments there to certain people being placed on the new scale. So there are some corrections being made, and that's been accounted for as well. What people requested for when I give the budget out, you'll see there are some requests for certain things. By the time you get down to the bottom, it's maybe $80,000 difference from what was requested to what is recommended. So it's not too big of a skew. People kind of stayed in their lane and tried to keep to what was originally asked. And again, we're early as far as we're not going to get the governor's budget until the second week in January. that will come out the Friday before the MMA conference in January. I estimated a 2% for local aid increase. MMA is trying pushing for a very large increase, but again, we'll see where that lands. It is an election year, but the state doesn't have any money either, so we'll see how that goes. Any questions?
So Seth, you said, I don't see it in here, you said health insurance, you're guessing at 20%?
Yeah, health insurance is being estimated at a 20% increase. Again, on the week of the January 8th meeting, you'll get the full Excel sheet with everything, so you'll have some time to digest it before that meeting. Basically, I'm not saying I'm holding it back, but I wanted to allow time for Heather to get, up to speed. She's had it for a couple days. I sent it to her last Friday. We met today to review things. There may be some quick recommendations immediately at the January 5th town meeting and also the select board meeting. We may impose a hiring freeze of any open positions. Because of this large of a deficit, there will be layoffs. There's no way around it with this type of number. So we need to really look at any open positions and, look at that as well, so.
So if you guys look on the back page on number 7, the number is approximately 3.2. So, right now, without.
I feel confident that that is the worst case number. It's a realistic number. I think it's a realistic revenue. I think it's realistic,
We just
and
don't know where the scary thing here could be the schools.
I put the school at 8%. When
As long as they don't go over that, we're good.
Yeah, and Austin had did the 5-year revenue projection. He anticipated this year we would be 4 million short, so we're 3. But he was using school at 10% increase. The population shift in the school wasn't drastic enough to really push us up that high. The whole district lost students. Even Rutland lost students. But other towns lost. We lost less than others. So again, we're just becoming a little bit bigger piece of the pie. With these numbers right now, currently this year, the Wachusett budget is 58% of the budget. Next year with these numbers, they would be 84% of the budget.
Ooh.
That's a huge shift. Yes.
Well,
I'm sorry, 64. Yeah, 64. Yeah, sorry.
Jesus.
84, we just might as well shut the doors right now, baby.
Yeah, they would be 64 if we cut the 3 million from the town side. So, unfortunately, if you really think about it, if the school doesn't move an inch out of a $12 million town budget, taking 3 million out of 12 million is devastating. And you're talking 20 full-time bodies or more to hit that number.
So, all this, okay.
So, Seth, going back to page 1 here, so the levy limit in this one, the 612,000 is the combination of the Prop 2.5 plus the estimated new growth.
That is Proposition 2.5 in new growth from this current year.
Right, but
Yes.
I'm just saying so the new growth estimated at 300, so the Prop 2.5 increase would be what, 312.5 or something like,
Yep.
okay. State aid, but, okay, so now under local receipts, it says local projected blah, blah, to decline, okay, it says district and probably attributed to restructuring and moving dispatch district, eliminating revenue from other communities, but the revenues that were received from other communities only went into the total dispatch budget, right?
So they were counted as a local receipt, as a revenue to us. And then we built their budget and we funded their whole budget on the town side.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, so that's,
So really, there's no revenue from us going away. It's going away on paper because
Correct.
that's how it was accounted for.
Correct, yep.
But we're not losing any revenue because of that dispatch.
No,
Okay.
no, because it's really being offset on the expense side.
Right,
Yes,
right.
but people are gonna look at, we're 4.9 million and now we're
Right,
3.7.
correct.
It's a big
But part of
swing.
that is an accounting setup rather
absolutely,
than,
yep.
we're not, it's not actual dollars.
Correct.
Okay.
And we had voted to use local receipt, I think at 87%, and we wanted to reel it back a little bit to the 85. I think that's the goal we're trying to get to. Again, we won't have a better idea on local receipts until March. Motor vehicle excise commitment comes in March, so we'll have a better understanding of who bought new cars, and that will be moving forward into next year. So again, I think we were I won't say overly conservative. I think we were, conservative enough to be realistic and comfortable. And the expenses, were scrutinized to the extent of bringing us back to the FY25 level service. So to give us a true picture of this is what it costs to operate the town at the level of service that we're operating at.
Okay, so then I have one other question. So what one-time volatile revenue, so what's a volatile revenue source? Just an example.
Volatile basically means it's not, it's subject to change yearly.
Okay.
We use free cash,
okay.
that's
I
not
see
a
what you're
guarantee that's gonna be the next year.
Okay.
Yes, we have just over 1.2 million available of free cash remaining. And again, worst, that's, again, it just would be drastic cuts using the $1 million and kicking the can to next year, and the
Okay.
next year would be,
Okay.
even worse, so.
So I think that, and we can all digest this as we go, but I think that's one of the points that the finance committee has to convey to everybody. That using free cash like we did last year is not gonna be we're kicking the can really down the road now. We did it last year, but this is gonna be, if we do 1.2 on top of this, next year, it's gonna be,
Oh, yeah.
we're not coming back from that one. I don't know if we're gonna come back from this one, never mind.
Do we need an override? We might not
So-
need one. Remember when that got
I do have
said?
one other question.
Go for it.
So if I'm correct, did the building department, the inspection
Yep.
service, did those rates go
Yes.
substantially
Yep,
up?
and they made a huge difference, and that's why when we got free cash this year, with the estimated permit fees were so much higher than what we had estimated, that drove free cash higher this year. So they've been accounted for next year.
All right, so I know we look at those numbers coming in to offset their costs and stuff.
But still overwhelmingly offsetting their costs.
So the offset that's there, that just goes into general revenue?
Correct, all general revenue.
So that just goes against what we can use for
Yeah, the total budget.
the total operating
Yeah,
budget?
it's not held in reserves for that
That's what I'm
purpose.
saying, there's
Correct.
no reserve accounts there.
Because
Okay.
you could argue that the treasurer brings in all the money, so it should all be saved for their department. You could argue that. But, yeah,
Okay.
we're one town, we're one organization, so.
Mr. Jordan would like to ask a question, go ahead.
So at the last town meeting, the question was asked to the body that was there, a couple positions were funded.
Yep.
And the question from the floor was, are we going to be able to afford them next year? And are they going to stay in? And the answer on the floor was yes.
They are accounted for and are in this budget with the deficit.
So that was a fair, was an accurate answer to the people, because you're potentially at a $3 million override with layoffs, right? So the answer is yes, but you're gonna have to vote favorably on some sort of override, is that correct?
That would be a better question for the chair of the select board that answered that question. Seth wasn't there to hear it,
He heard it, he watched it.
but still,
So who answered the question?
the chair of the select board.
Okay. So,
So what's the answer? Is there any answer to that?
Well, I think the answer was that it's been accounted for in the planning for next year, but we're still in a world of deep doo-doo, and that's just part of the deep doo-doo.
I'm gonna put it out there too, and I think it's what we say and how we say it, right? So going forward with potential override. Seth, when you said, and I've heard the select board, so I know you're talking about the select board said to do, and that is to go back to 25 services. Well, what is the services from 25? Because we've got many more personnel, and everything has gone up, so it kind of gives, I think it points people in a direction that I don't think the select board wants to have out there, because it makes people think, at least me, because what you were saying is you added a position or two in,
So
So-
you, it would be beneficial to have a full-time equivalent number of town employees from FY twenty-five
because
to
that's what
now.
I'd be looking at. Well, if
Sure.
I'm gonna go back to services, does that include how many people we had
Right.
on? And how much they were making, but no,
Yep,
they've,
yep,
you know,
yep.
making at least 6 or 7% more
Yep.
at this point, and.
And how much has the town grown in population from that?
Right, I mean, there's
Oh,
a
yeah.
lot of things, but
Yeah.
I would caution us to maybe not,
But be ready to answer the question if it comes. Or like you said, phrase it in the right.
it's gotta
Yep.
be more, what is then
Yeah,
what is, what
define
does
what
services
levels.
mean?
Yes, yep,
What
okay.
does that mean?
In,
But
of
this is what the services
2025.
were,
Yeah.
but this is how much more it costs to
Yeah.
have those services now, including
Sure.
more personnel.
Was your question answered? Are you happy with the answer? I'm not happy. I mean,
I knew the answer
No,
before
did
I
you
asked
knew
it.
get
the
the
answer.
answer?
I did with the reaction on his face.
Okay.
So,
He was at the meeting.
so in times past, the finance committee, one of the things we have to talk about and think about is we've always had the override passes and then kind of the
The cut budget,
unfortunate,
the
yes.
cut budget, and then the override
Yes,
passes
yeah,
budget.
the unfortunate that the override doesn't pass budget.
And that's where your legal question comes in.
That is correct, that's
Yes.
one of the things
Yes.
that
What
could
was it,
affect
one more?
the legal question for Desi.
Yeah.
Desi question,
Of how-
cause
how we present.
that could affect it.
It's not gonna affect 3.2, but it could affect
No,
a
but it
little
could
bit.
help.
But it would help us how we lay out the warrant article and how it's presented.
Yes, because I've also heard that it's possible that we're getting close, if not this budget year, definitely next budget year, that we're getting close with the school district about that. I don't remember the name of the new line that we put in that could be funded between 1% and 3%.
For the
We're
capital
getting
stabilization.
capital stabilization,
That was
we're
supposed to be
getting
funded through
close
your
to
ED,
that.
right?
They said they weren't going to, they were not going to come to the towns to fund it
Two
for 3 years.
3 years, okay, so we have another year, I think.
Okay,
We
Or is
just
it then?
voted that in, so
Okay.
this is the first year,
so we should, yeah,
so we got 2 more.
27,
two.
so it should go in 29.
He said 3 years?
Yeah, I think,
I thought they said 2, but I don't know, I don't
Yeah, I
know.
thought it
2
was
or 3.
more.
Whatever it is, it's gonna bite us eventually.
Pretty soon. So I guess, how do we make more money? And I think transportation for school is one thing that we need to look at. When the business administrator made it clear that we are transporting everybody in the district, no matter where they live, but we are only able to bill for the ones that live outside of that 1.5 miles. That's potentially, and I think it's legitimate that we start saying, we're not getting money from it, it's costing us more money, you're not even entitled to it, we do it, so if you want it, you pay for it. It sounds harsh, but I think at this point, we need to figure out how we're gonna pay for
We
things.
can recommend that to the school committee, but unfortunately, that's a school committee decision, not ours.
We
Yeah, but-
pay our own transportation,
It's a school
Split
committee,
based on the,
it's all based upon the school committee budget.
We don't have to approve the whole budget.
We don't, no, I agree, but we don't have, we'd have to go to the school committee and ask them to look at that. The school committee provides us
Or
with
we
that.
challenge it on the floor.
Or we can challenge it on the floor, exactly, but we can't say we're doing this. It's a school committee that puts that to us as a
Right, but I
town.
agree with what you just said. We could say when we were review, budget, blah, 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 whatever, right?
Sure.
And we're considering that, the school bus thing, would you, however it's gotta be worded, would you look into it? Just what you said, we can't say one way or the other, but we could recommend to them, cause it's, again, that's in our bylaws, our charges to
That's what I
tell,
said.
to
That's what I
tell
said.
people or
We're
ask,
gonna have to
recommend
go
to people, right?
We're gonna have to go to the school
So,
committee
but you said we just have to go to the school committee, that's where it's processed or done or
Okay.
whatever.
and they probably won't wanna.
But the other part of that too, though, is I mean, doesn't have to be like a fundamental change at the state level for the rules they got, for it to kinda leave it more up to the locals to say, we don't really need these, and I'm not sure this is the whole answer, I'm just saying, use an example, is we don't need a, 64 passenger bus or whatever they are, we can get by with a 20 passenger bus or whatever. That's what they don't have, every time the school sits here, they said they don't have the option to optimize the routes, they have to provide a seat for each person.
Yes,
So.
That's a requirement.
So I'm just saying, that has to be maybe a fundamental change in the regulations that the state has for
So-
school
A
bus
lot of those
service.
that need to be made.
If they make a change to the funding formula, we won't worry about it.
So
no,
if we,
right.
if we, by the 24th, the meeting that everybody thought that it would be a good idea for me to go to, if we have a recommendation for me to make to the school committee at that, I can make that at that meeting, but I'd like to have a pretty set thing by the committee that how we wanna say it and everything else, and how we do verbatim at the meeting with Seth sitting next to me.
It won't be set though.
That's a good
It'll be
idea.
Heather,
No,
won't it?
he's going both, they go.
What, what you were just discussing with the transportation of people that are inside or outside of that, is that, I gotta figure out how to word this. Is it a way that it would cost us less money, or are we just potentially missing some revenue by charging those people to get that service?
It won't
Can't
cost,
charge.
Cost us as much money, I guess, is what because there would
That's
be,
not what you just
there
said?
would be revenue received by the school district to offset our bill.
correct.
We are not allowed to charge people for using the bus because we're a regional school district.
I was just gonna say, I don't think we do that,
We're not allowed to charge.
right?
Then we can't pick the kids up. I mean,
How, now I'm also, here's a switch. I'm gonna be on the school side. They gotta drive right by those people to get to the school, so is it really costing us anything? I agree with you, however, I'm just saying, there isn't an additional cost per se, cause the gas still goes by.
And there's empty seats on the bus for those kids. It's not like they're creating they need a
A
new
new
bus
bus
to
or
pick them up.
nothing else.
That was my point when I was talking to them, and they were trying to tell us how much reimbursement we get, because those numbers weren't adding up when,
Right,
When
cause
they would
within that
discuss it.
mile and a half or
Right.
mile, whatever it is, we don't get reimbursed by the state.
correct,
That was the first time they've ever actually come out and
said they didn't, yeah. Because I think they're supposed to get back to us with some
They don't do
numbers
public
still,
comment.
so.
Mr. Mark.
But I also wanted to go back on one thing Karen said a few minutes ago, talking about the format of the budget. That's not in our bylaw anymore either, that was taken out, but the old one, before it was changed to these, said that the finance committee specified how the numbers should be in there so you can understand them. But we don't, hopefully, that whoever's making that budget layout up is gonna do that.
The acting town administrator has done it the way that we used to have it prior
Correct, no, I
to,
understand that,
and I'm assuming Heather will be the same.
Yep. I'm hoping
Okay,
that's the way it's
I
gonna stay.
got a
I'm just-
question on that. Is he looking for it to be split up amongst minimum local contribution,
Do you want minimum local contribution,
transportation,
transportation?
all that? Because there's no separate line items for
Right.
that.
Or do you just want the total school budget? But you wanna see the years,
Well, no, I just wanna see, I wanna just the budget to have the numbers that show, just like you said, here's what this is and here's it with the override or without the
Okay,
override.
yeah, that's fine.
And then you have other line items
Yep.
that people get funded by separate sources. If there's no impact on the bottom line of the budget, then there should be a column that says, this number is, I'm just gonna use a number, this is $100,000 for this particular thing, and that $100,000 comes out of X, I don't know, whatever, XYZ fund or somewhere else, not through the raise and appropriate or local
Yeah,
revenue
he's doing
stuff.
that for us.
like recreation.
Yeah,
and
but, yeah, so, yeah,
You're doing that for us now.
yeah, you'll have that, but I don't know how you would show it. I mean, most people that are split funded through the enterprise funds, water, sewer, stormwater. So you could say, so the argument would be then, do you put all the labor costs on the town side and offset it?
No, so you would show if it's partially funded with, the tax revenue, that would be in that column, and what's funded with other source, it goes in the next column, so the total would be there, but
Okay, all right.
it'll be a lot clearer for people to understand what's going on.
Mr. Moderator, you have a question or comment?
The comment that Ms. Norwell just said about the school driving by the bus. And I believe someone had made the comment earlier that you have to provide a seat for every student that they pick up or potentially pick up.
Every student outside of the, what is it, a mile and a half, I forget what it is. That, they have to provide a seat for every
So you
student.
don't have to provide a seat for the kid in that mile and a half?
Right, unless it's kindergarten, there's something about kindergarten.
Yeah, something about kindergarten.
Yeah. But because half the kids are driven to school is empty seats, and that's
So
why.
can you not plan for those students in an hour and a half? And they,
Not right now, state
That's the
law.
problem.
Yes, yeah.
oh, I was gonna say, don't plan on them, don't tell them you're gonna pick them up and then pick them up because the empty seats are there, you know what I'm saying?
But that's the problem.
That's almost what they're doing.
They say the law says whoever's else, whatever on that route, the people that are beyond this point, you have to say, okay, there's 7 kids there, so I gotta have 7 seats, or I gotta have 22 seats, or whatever it is, whether they're used or not. And then they say the buses, like Karen said, the buses are going by, so they pick up the kids within the mile and a half if they got room to bring them here, but that's a zero cost. I mean, it's not costing us any more for operating it, but we don't get any revenue for them. That was the point
Yeah.
that I kept asking at that meeting, so that we understood the number that we were getting reimbursed.
Well, I wonder if somebody's done an audit with AA Transportation, are they truly only got seats for the outside mile and a half? Because they're in it for the money, right? That's their contract, that's what they're gonna get, but has anybody audited that route to?
Write that down, we'll have him ask.
But I think that would be the same thing Karen said earlier. I think that question, we could ask that question and send it to the school committee, because I'm sure the school makes up the kids that are outside I don't think the bus company just says, what do you want us to do? We gotta put a bus here for
That's
so
the
many kids.
question. That's
Right,
a question, part of the audit, the
Right.
questions.
No, we could ask that question.
We're gonna have them back here, so we can certainly ask that question.
So the other question I'd like to follow up on part B there. Karen made a comment that we can't bill the kid within the mile and a half to pick up. Is there a way that we could ask those kids within the mile and a half? We're assuming all of them are gonna take the bus if they're offered. But as Seth just said, half of them go because they get a ride to school. Right? Can we ask those kids, are you gonna use the bus or not? And if they say no, do we have to pay for them to get on the bus? Would be another question that I would think you'd wanna consider to ask. I mean, we're watching our dollars here, or our pennies here.
We're trying.
These are all great questions. Unfortunately, they're gonna have to be directed to the school committee, because they're the ones that are in charge of these questions. We can just ask as a member town to our school
I
committee.
understand, but those are just a couple things that came to my mind here.
Yep,
Right, but part of the answer to what you said, but I would gather from what we've been told by the school department, the superintendent, on more than this last occasion, but other years too, is, so you can't ask them that question, are you gonna use it or not? And the law says you have to provide the seat, that's it. If those kids are there, you gotta have X number of seats for those
he's
X number of
saying
kids.
for within the mile and a half. He's saying ask.
Yeah, but they don't really affect us.
I get it.
And you can't ask that because it's the law says you have to be over the mile and a half, not under, so what are you gonna ask them?
I get it. Yep.
Right, at
So
least that's the way I would see it.
Seth, do you, going down this other trail here, do you plan on putting together or with the new town administrator, putting together a budget that has best case scenario and then a cut budget, is that what we're gonna do? And then or are you looking for direction from the selectmen?
I need to direct one from the board on, do they want the town administrator's office to present a balanced budget and what that means?
It's in the bylaw that
We
a
would be-
balanced budget is
We
given.
would be happy to do that, but it needs to be, someone needs to define if, whether it's the select board, finance committee, I don't know. Someone needs to define what core level services means to this town, because that's where we're getting, that's, you know, there are certain,
And that, in my opinion, that's the 5 people that sit over there.
so,
And
because,
and then those 5 people, those same 5 people have to do the core services.
Yep.
Have to come up with, in my opinion, 2 different budgets.
Yep.
And then they also have to come up with, have to decide early enough that we're either gonna go for an override or not go for an override. And if they don't wanna go for an override, what that affects right out of the gate.
Yep.
So, we're assuming that this budget is gonna have an override. I don't know what, if they say no, then we're gonna cut budgets right off the, on the get-go. So they have to belly up and have some answers for it.
I think it can be done, again, it was the prior override, the acting town administrator at the time made those cuts to get to a balanced budget and was crucified for it. Because I won't say, you know, whether right or wrong, the cuts were made to get to the balanced budget, and certain people didn't like what cuts were made. Well, without any direction of what core value service means to people, I don't know, I don't wanna get yelled at for, you know, making an, you know, a decision. Someone at a higher level needs to make that determination. Because it's gonna, to hit this type of number, it is drastic,
Devastating?
beyond that. Because obviously, town government needs to operate at some level. We still have to have an assessor, we still have to have an accountant. Someone's gonna send the tax bill out, you know, so there's certain thing, we have to have a town clerk by law.
I was gonna say, town clerk's the
Yeah,
only one I
yeah,
know by law
yeah,
we have to
you know,
have.
I mean, there are certain functions of government that must be maintained. And they're the smallest budgets that you can't really cut.
Right,
You know, they're 1 or 2 people, okay, you can cut their support staff,
Yeah.
that's about it.
yeah, and that's not gonna get us
Not
to
gonna
the
get us anywhere near
3.2.
it, we're talking, you know, 5 or 6 people per 3 of the large departments. I mean, it's that drastic.
Yep.
So,
Earlier you asked if Tommy wanted a breakout of the school. I think that since we are asking Desi if we can do that,
Yep.
and that's some possible wiggle room,
yep,
I would like to have
Yep.
that breakout.
because we vote the school budget as a separate article, so you can break it out,
Right.
so at least you can see where we're
Right.
cutting it
I
from.
think I think it's
Yep.
important. The
Okay.
other thing is, I know that we've got projections, you said it was 4, we're down to 3.2, whatever that number is.
Yeah.
But when, at the bottom of page 1, where it talks about expenditure overview, and it says that we're approximately 4.4% over 26.
Again, if the school's 8% increase,
But that's gonna be 4.4 or 5 or 6 next year as well.
oh, correct.
That's what I'm saying, that's what I wanna
Absolutely.
get at,
Yeah.
that this is, we're just in a
This is
perpetual
1 year.
override
Yes, Yeah.
situation, and I think that's where we're gonna get a lot of.
Unless costs go down, there's always potential costs will go down.
But, I mean, we have to look, and I said something the other
3.5
night to somebody, and I'm not trying to beat up the school, I'm not, but if a school was not, if Rutland had its own schools, it would have to live within our budget, even if it was 4%, they'd have to live, it's not the 8%. But the school just, they're the,
I don't think it would.
pardon,
I don't think it would.
you don't think what would, I'm sorry.
I don't think it would have to live because they play by a different set of rules
They do,
in the minimum contribution.
they do,
No,
so.
no, if they were a town department, if we were in charge.
Oh,
It wasn't
if Rutland had its-
hypothetically speaking.
Yeah,
Say we get out of the
hypothetically,
district thing and all that.
Leicester has its own
it's never gonna
schools.
happen.
they have to live with
They
whatever.
have to live within
Yes.
the budget that this, Leicester has its own school. It's
Right, but I
private,
don't
it's
think, I don't
department.
believe they have to, I believe they are still protected by school financing rates that give them a minimum contribution that may be well above that
But I mean,
percentage.
I think I understand our minimum contribution is doable.
The increases on the minimum contribution is
That's doable for us. It's everything else that is not.
It's the discretionary.
Discretionary.
That's what's getting us, and I just, if we're gonna be up at possibly 64%, that's the highest we've ever been. And that, it just, to me, it's obvious that something there needs to give. Why are, and I guess I say things out loud because they're gonna be questions by other
Sure,
people.
absolutely.
Last year, I started to look at some of this, and I think even within our municipal budget, many of our contractual salaries and healthcare are well above 2.5%. I mean, we got a whole lot of
Exactly,
things that are not
exactly.
within that 2.5% rate, so.
Exactly. No, I agree.
I think that there should be, I don't know how's everybody feel about one override or one for the school and one for the town services? What do you guys think? I mean, that we gotta come up with that idea, or we gotta make a suggestion. I think it should be one override, but, but maybe people won't agree with that.
That would be, but it's been done before, and I can't remember how it came out, but it's been tried before.
Well, we did an override for just municipal services.
Correct, that too.
And it did pass.
It did pass. I'm saying if you had two overrides, one from each, kind of, the argument there was you're pitting one
Yep.
against the other, and
But,
blah, blah,
but you could
blah.
almost argue that that's what, if the school's being fully funded in this budget, the town is short
They're
three
pitting
point
us
one.
against each other right now.
And I'm in full agreement, yes, I understand that.
So I think for transparency, and maybe it is pitting one against the other, but it has the option of both winning an override. But I think transparency, and it's also a safety mechanism. If the school doesn't pass if we don't pass an override for the school, then we deal with the school. But if the override passes for the town services, that's secure, and our services are secure.
For 1 year.
Secured for 1 year.
And that's something that's gonna be, we gotta hammer home
And it-
on the meeting with the selectmen.
Right.
This year is not done. Next 5 years, we know we're gonna be in trouble.
But the override, if it was separately for the school, is only secure,
For the first year.
well, no, if the other four
Oh,
towns,
correct, yes.
right? If the other
Yes.
four towns pass the budget, then we gotta come up with the money
Yes,
to
exactly.
fund it,
We're
so.
gonna take it out of them.
Yes.
No, I'm just saying, it's,
Is there a way that we could invite the school committee to the July 8th meeting so that they can hear the concerns that we have with the budget?
January.
January, excuse me,
The Rutland School Rep.
Rutland School Committee members.
yeah.
Because then maybe
Yeah.
they could hear the concerns.
we have three of them, right? We're down to three? We used to have four,
think
we're
we
down to
have
three.
Don't know.
No, isn't that correct? Is that correct, Seth?
I think,
I'm pretty sure that's what it is now. We lost one.
Yeah, so, there's a whole bunch of things that are coming up that we gotta think about, and no matter what anybody says, in the select board's office, and I think they all know that they have been briefed on this, some of them have already, and I think that they gotta know, and you can't say this, we have to let people, at the town meeting last year, we told everybody it was coming. I don't know if anybody listened, but we spoke to it. And this is not gonna get any better. And I don't know where it stops or where it's only way this gets solved in Rutland is more state aid, and I don't see that coming. We are not gonna, no matter what anybody says, Rutland Heights is not gonna fund this budget yet. There's no businesses coming to town. The new pizza place and the new pharmacy is not gonna fund this budget. So we are not, in the next 5 years, we are not gonna get, when we project it out in Austin's projections, which we all kind of agree with, they're not that far off. We're not getting any better over the next 5 years. And so we're looking at 10 before, now, I don't know where it is. 11 or 12. Cause we were going with 2.5. And the other thing we gotta do is whatever we gotta do, we can't use free cash to fund this budget. Because all this will do was bite us in, in the backside, whatever Ted said. Cause it's only gonna make it worse next year.
Well, right, but the only thing I would say to that is, we tried to keep that down to like 100, whatever it was, a lower number as we were going along, because some of that money is repeating revenue, because it's from unused budget money that was in raise and appropriate. So a little bit of that is reoccurring.
$100,000 or $200,000 of it.
Right, but you just can't use a huge number, absolutely.
Yeah,
Not,
the 2 point whatever we used last year.
Right,
That's not recurring.
that's not recurring. As Seth already pointed out here with the dispatch, it's less even.
Yeah.
so those are all things that I've been thinking about for the last couple of days when Seth and I had a conversation, and I had asked him to come to this meeting and put it on the agenda, because I'm concerned that people, I don't know if everybody knows that it's the next couple of years, number one. And I don't know that everybody on the select board agrees that the free cash, say $1 million of the free cash, should stay where it is. And I don't know that everybody wants, I don't know what their appetite for this fight is, but we have to either pull together as a town and try to go for, do whatever we can do, bearing in mind that over the next 5 years, we're gonna continue to have overrides. And I don't know that it's sustainable. One of these years, it's not gonna pass, and it's gonna be devastating.
Well, you're right, it's not sustainable, but if you read a lot of the articles in the paper, we're not in the same, we're in the same boat with
A lot of this,
80% of the rest of the cities and towns.
right,
80% don't have to pay the bill that we have to pay.
No, I know, I'm just saying, it's tough, it's hurting everybody.
and and unfortunately, Tommy, it's state aid, and we're not getting any more. Hopefully the governor's budget, if that goes up, it would be great, but
Yeah.
they're already crying that they don't have any money already, so. I don't know, does anybody wanna speak to this? I mean, I hope I have the same sentiments as everybody in the room. I mean, this isn't, I don't know how we're gonna do this. So, Mr. George,
I think one thing that you have to keep in mind is you have to be as honest with the townspeople as you possibly can and give them some notice of what you're doing. And you can't lead any misperception. And the challenge that I've seen running these meetings is we're gonna have an override, and the last minute, in the last few, you've pulled out and you haven't had an override, right? So we continue to cry wolf. We're gonna have to do an override, and then somehow we find it to do it, right? And it's a matter of time, could be this year, could be next, that we can't find that, right, to do it. And then we have no choice. If the school comes back and says we gotta do this, we all gotta pay more to make it work, right? And we gotta figure it out. The challenge that you all have is you can't plan for it and then find it, because people are just gonna assume it's gonna happen year after year. Now, I'm uneducated in regards to if we're short and we're not getting any forward progress, the selectmen choose our tax rate every year, is that correct?
Yes.
So if we know that we're gonna be $3 million short this year, can you increase your tax rate?
3.5 divided by.
Right.
No, we can't.
So that's the override.
This is as much as
Well, why can't you,
state law.
State law,
You can only go up 2.5%.
2.5%.
And we've already increased it to the max we can. Seth and
Are
his
we at the levy
paperwork.
limit?
We hit the levy limit every year.
Okay,
So we tax to the
We tax
the
as
highest level we can legally,
Yep, every year.
every year,
We've been doing that for a lot of
how many
years.
years have we done that?
for 20 years. Oh, the exception of the year of the override.
Yeah.
We did not raise and appropriate 400,000 that first year of the override. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, because we asked for 2 million in the, what was needed to operate the budget, was like 1.6. So we had 400,000 that we did not tax the people the first year, but guess what? They got taxed at 400,000 on the second
that,
year.
yes,
To the max.
absolutely we did.
Yep,
And that helped fund the school that second.
that helped fund the school the second year, correct.
So for the last 20 years, with the exception of that
Yeah.
one, we've gone up 2.5%.
Yep,
Every
plus new growth every year. Yep.
So I think others probably have the same sentiment. How do we change the school the way they tell us that they're gonna go up more than 2.5?
You can't.
How do you change it was the question.
well, that's what
Oh,
we've
that's what we're
been trying.
trying to
That's what we're
figure
trying to
out.
figure out.
To go to the state.
So that's a state thing. Best thing would be have the state make it a separate taxing authority like other states do. And they set their own tax rate and they sink or swim on their own. That's one opportunity. One, there's been floating around revenue sharing. So if the town is only bringing in 4.5%, town side, school side can only raise their budget 4.5%. If you want more, you're on your own for an override. You can go that way. But again, the school is driven by student population, and that's a whole nother, that can swing it dramatically one way or the
And
other.
we're not going the right way, unfortunately.
Yes.
That is killing us.
That is also killing, correct?
And we're in hold harmless because of all that.
Correct, yeah.
It's
Yeah,
I understand that, but there's gotta be somewhat of a,
correct, I
We
agree.
agree 100% with you. I don't know how we do it.
Because our average income for the town between 2.5, our new growth, what we, a little extra we get in state aid and local receipts, is averaging about 3.5 to 3.75% of new revenue every year. So that's how much extra money we bring to the table every year. The problem is when the school comes in at 8% and they make up 50+% of our budget, they've taken all the new money and now are stealing from the town side. And we just can't keep sustaining that.
Margaret tried explaining that to the school many times over. She went to meetings and said, this is what we've got and this is what we've got. Why don't we do the revenue sharing? She tried really, really hard. Problem is, we can't be a lone person either, or a lone town, because you gotta get majority of the towns to go for it.
Well, it's funny because we've tried to do this a couple times, and
Yep.
last time we were upside down, we asked everybody for help, and everybody said, Rutland who?
Yep,
So I'm,
But now you've got
Crickets.
Holden and you've got Paxton, at least those two others besides us.
Holden's got a
Are-
tremendous override coming,
Exactly.
and Paxton's probably the same as
1.2
us.
this year,
1.2 in Paxton?
Yep.
And what's Holden gonna be?
7.5.
Yeah.
They wanna do more.
They wanna do more, they want 10
in Holden.
in Holden.
Holden.
I thought
But
they
they're
just dropped
doing
their
that.
override.
No, the finance
So, I mean,
committee,
if it
so the finance
doesn't,
committee in
then
Holden's being
everybody's on the
wishy-washy
same
and are trying to,
I've been waiting, you know,
Yeah.
we've been waiting for people to be on the same page financially, and I think that we're.
And Sterling is
but
gonna make,
Holden is doing it smart. They're doing it ahead of time.
They're doing
So
their-
that way they know it,
they're doing
which
the
is
ballot
what we
question.
tried
it may
pushing
be
ahead of time.
smart, but it's still gonna be a monstrous thing.
Yeah, but at least they're doing it ahead of time
They started months
versus-
ago.
Right, they started doing information sessions, October,
I heard they're
November.
canceling them.
huh?
I heard they're canceling them lately.
Well, I think that's because of the wishy squishy that's happening, but they had it out. It's been out and whatnot, and we as a finance committee did tell that we have to get going right away, and
Did they reel it back from 10, or how did that go from 10?
Don't know.
I don't know how that.
The,
No, they.
town manager's
were
asking
looking-
for the 7.5.
They were looking for a buffer and,
Yeah.
or maybe the 10 would take them 2
Yeah,
years.
the 7.5 is a 1 year. That's their 1 year.
And they're gonna be in the same.
Correct.
So the interesting thing is, Princeton's got maybe 2 years, but Sterling.
Sterling is on the cusp. They're waiting.
Sterling is, they maybe get through this year.
Yeah.
But that's it.
Yeah.
They're gonna be just like everybody, so,
They're waiting on their healthcare costs to
Yeah.
determine whether they're gonna be forced in this year or not.
and I don't think Princeton, it's just fine.
Darren, I think what I heard you saying a few minutes ago was that you were kind of asking, what does this group think we should do?
I wanna at least have consideration and start thinking which way we wanna go.
Well, one of the things that there's only one group that can decide whether or not there's gonna be an override. Are you hinting at we should come up with a decision of where we stand on that and maybe bring that to them? Lobby them is another word maybe? I don't know. Was I hearing you right or not?
That's where I'm kinda going, I don't know that. We've recommended, well, let's go back one little step, we've recommended that they do overrides, or they go that route, or kinda push a little bit, and they do their own thing. I don't know that
But this document that Seth's put together certainly lays the picture out pretty good. Have they got this yet, or are they gonna get
They're
this
getting it tomorrow morning.
tomorrow? So they're gonna get it, so they should be looking at this and saying, well, this is,
we might not
Kind
need
of
one.
believe-
Remember when that got said?
We needed one last year.
so let them look at it, and maybe at our next meeting, we can say,
well, we're
okay,
gonna have a joint meeting with them, so.
well, we can bring it up then too.
I think through the chair, I think, and in the end, I think the select board and the finance committee have to be one unified front on whatever decision's made to move forward, to educate, advocate, whatever. Because if there's any fracture, however people vote in the ballot box
doesn't
is
make a
totally up, but again,
If there's a fracture between these
Yep.
two, it's
Yep.
not gonna help.
it's not gonna help, and people will feel that there's no faith in government. That if the two groups can't agree, then why should the public agree? So I think that's the message that needs to
100%,
be.
but when did that hasn't happened in the past. If they decided an override, we worked on it, and we worked on it together, so,
In the past.
yeah.
I think we should strongly influence if that's the way we wanna go. But if they don't wanna go with it, we can't, they recommend it, unfortunately.
They have to say that we're gonna go for one.
Right, they have to decide.
I mean, last year, it was, we're gonna do an override, then all of a sudden it was, oh no, we removed that. And I was like,
But I kind of feel like last year, we sort of waited very quietly for what they were going to do, and I'm
We
wondering
waited till
this
the
year,
very last
I'm
minute.
wondering this year if we don't wanna be a little bit more proactive.
I wanna be proactive.
Well, I think. go home and
20
read the-
selectmen reading, watching this now, we're at a remaining structural deficit of $3.1 million. I think we need an override.
Right.
All in favor?
Right. No, I agree with that 100%. That we should definitely be taking this document and working on it and be ready when we meet with them to talk about it.
So they'll have had some time by then to digest it and
Yes.
see it and
Yes.
understand it. Alright, that makes
And then
sense.
we push it forward, or our recommendation is to push it forward.
And I would hope that acting town administrator, new town administrator would be also suggesting it, because I don't think any of us wanna see a cut of $3.1 million.
No.
Which is pretty much 3.2 by the time you round up.
It's 3.2.
Yeah, it's 3.2.
So. I think we all know where we're at. I think,
Should have had these numbers before we spent money on Christmas gifts.
And I'm bringing it a week before Christmas, so if you wanna call me Scrooge, that's fine.
No.
The Grinch,
Yes.
We knew where
We
we
knew
were
that, we knew
last
this
year.
last year.
yeah.
Do we, so going back to what Ted just said, do we, based on this, do we wanna recommend that we at least explore the possibilities of an override? Or recommend that they explore the possibilities of an override as a group? Yeah, or do you guys,
I think we should talk with them and then make our decision after we talk with them for a
Okay.
little bit.
So if a $3.2 million override needs to go through, the average household is going to have to pay how much more?
I will get that information. I don't have that yet.
More.
You know, this isn't a fix.
No.
You know, so that's
Well,
what
that's the part that we gotta keep
I'm
bringing up.
stopping, and I can't get there 100% because we've gotta be doing something parallel to, or we just have to say, we need a $2 or $3 million override every year for the foreseeable future. And everybody has to get on board with that, and I don't think, to your point, we can't, somebody's gonna ask that question.
Well, the problem is 2.5 doesn't work. It doesn't work
No, it
for
doesn't,
everybody.
but the end result is the same, if,
Can we get that increased?
no,
No.
No.
No, you could try.
You could stand
And you
outside
could
the Big Y in Walmart and collect signatures and get it on the ballot. I mean, that's how we got this in the first place, right?
That's right.
I think I was in high school
Get rid
when
of
2.5
we were
went
in,
through.
right, we were 80, what was it, Tommy, 87,
No,
84?
1980.
1989, or 80,
No.
yeah, 89, I think.
2.5?
2.5 was 1980.
1980.
Yeah,
1980.
it was a long time
Yeah.
ago.
But
Because
I
that
think
was
the
when
end
gas
result
prices were
is
going up
either
and
it's gonna
everything.
cost us
Inflation was
at least
ridiculous.
a 3.2 million, and if 2.5 goes away, it could cost us 6 point something million, cause there's no constraint.
Well,
So,
that's-
2.5
Right.
is sustainable if we got more state aid.
Yes.
Let's put it to you,
That's right, that's true too.
That's another way of looking at it. If we got more state aid, we would, 2.5 is sustainable in this town.
Income taxes go up, free taxes stay lower. Either way, yeah, it's one hand or the other. It's all coming from us. Right now, what's worse is we're
Well,
paying
I
into
would
the
like to-
state and we're not getting any of it back.
Time out. The state aid, the taxes that we pay,
Right, we're not
the
getting.
fair share does not
I
come back
agree,
to the
I
town.
agree.
That's-
No, but was she?
Right.
It's, yes,
You're right.
Right,
if we got our fair share
I
back,
agree wholeheartedly.
or the unfunded mandates that me and you've talked about
You got it.
1,000 times, and everybody in this room.
Yep.
Okay.
Get
When it
funded.
comes right down to it, that's what we need. We need the same percentage coming back as unrestricted governmental aid that has
Right.
been dwindling and dwindling and dwindling.
Terry just made a
25% less since what year?
What they call it, the Great Recession of what, 2008?
2008.
2000.
It's been 20, since then,
Yeah, it's almost
20 years.
almost 20 years, yeah.
That we've lost a cumulative of a quarter.
If you go on
Like to make
MMA's
another-
website, it's how to manage the storm, there's a new thing.
Okay.
And it is a really good informative of what they're trying to do and shows how much the state has not been, you know, keeping,
That's what we got sent to us by the select board.
so, it is a good read.
That's that MMA
Yeah,
publication.
yeah, it was they did a very nice job with it, but again,
And that's what we tried showing last year at the town
yeah.
meeting, that the percentage that we're getting back of all of our taxes to the state is going down. So
Yeah.
therefore.
But instead of taking it out of one pocket, putting some back, it's just coming out of both.
Exactly.
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 yes, Yeah,
Mr. Jordan would like to make a statement, and then right after that, I'd like to entertain a motion to adjourn from
So
somebody.
Carol just made a comment about, the Prop 2.5.
Tamika wants that
And we need some additional state funding given back to us that was originally there for schools, if I understand correctly, right?
Schools and everything.
So in turn, it's a fight with the state to do your pocket analogy you just did, right? So which fight do you do? I mean, we gotta keep this ship afloat today. right? And yet you're talking about running parallel, unless you ask people to give more money that they don't have in this town to do it. How do you go to the state and unify to go to the state to say, hey, we need more money back to all our local towns, how do we do it, right? And which fight do you want? The Prop 2.5, can you raise it to 4 or something, right? Or do you say, give us that transportation money or whatever the school system is to do it? How do you do that? I had one other question earlier that I didn't do while I continue to talk here is the dispatch went to the district model, right? And a long time ago, the school went to the district model, and that was all to save money, correct? And I believe the dispatch is saving the town of Rutland money-ish?
Not right now, they will be.
It will be, right?
Couple of years, yep,
Fiscal
that's the
twenty
plan.
twenty-six.
I don't think we won't see the savings until they get in the new facility and the other towns start contributing. So we're still staying a 5-member town, a 5-member group right now until they move out of this facility into a new building. And then
6 they just added,
they've added and committed, and the state 911 is now going to,
but in the future.
it's probably a year out until the new building is available.
One thing, and then the reality is
Well,
way
it's-
different.
Believe me, I have lots of concerns of, there's a lot of indirect costs in the dispatch district as their own. They need their own accountant, their own treasurer, HR, all of that.
It's their own
Who sat
town.
in the back of the
They're their
meeting
own
and brought
town
all those
entity.
things up.
And right now, that's gonna be supported by 5 towns until the other towns join. And so we're pushing on the state 911 department that this is their big picture, this is what they want. They need to contribute, otherwise this is not gonna be a success story. I agree with you, Carol, so,
So I'm just concerned that
Brought those same
we're concerned
concerns
about
up.
the school district,
Yep.
that we would get out if we had a choice.
Yep.
Are we going to wanna get out of the
Can't. We
State
can only
911
leave
said
one
no.
district to go to another district. We're not allowed to go back to having what we have now.
yeah. In 10 years, there'll be 4 dispatch districts in the Commonwealth.
and that's it.
And that's it.
I think as this goes along, you're not gonna wanna get out of it. It is gonna get
Yeah.
less expensive, but.
I think it's going to be completely a
'cause it's a whole different
state-run
situation.
That's the point.
facility.
And
That's a
they
whole
said we were gonna
problem.
get transportation paid
when
for.
you
Well,
have
then
the
they
state
should,
run
but then they
everything
should pay for
Right,
their
but
own.
that's
And
something
then we
else for the
just,
school that's
'cause
never
all the
happened.
funding.
Don't
for
worry,
911 is
something's
yourself.
going to change with the state
the surcharge is
911
yourself.
grant, and we're gonna
So
get
that-
ripped.
So
So
you-
there's money there.
There's money
Once
there.
they get us all in, we're gonna be.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor?
I
Aye.
Thank you.
Well, the thing with the 911.